All right, we're live.
There, are we live on Facebook? Hey, we're live on YouTube. Let me give the intro music. Live on YouTube. Let me give the intro music. All right. I love the intro music will never go old to me. So we're live on YouTube. How you guys feel?
I feel really good about the intro music.
You like that? I listen.
It's like we're a '90s sitcom.
Well, that's, that's what actually I was hoping for, was to bring back the power of the '90s. You know what would happen?
I feel like I should be walking through San Francisco somewhere.
Yeah. You know what would happen if we brought the power of the '90s church? Like we would all be in power suits and running around with our hair slicked back. By the end of the service, it would be falling out.
Kind of like yours does.
Yeah. Kind of like. And you basically everyone would look like the Ultimate Warrior when he entered into the ring.
I could handle that.
That will never. Wait, hey, that reminds me. I have a picture of the Ultimate Warrior. Hold on. Ultimate Warrior. That was my favorite wrestler back in the day. What do y'all think about that?
That's good stuff.
Yeah, see, there he is shaking the ropes right behind my head.
You look just like him.
I thought I looked like him too.
You certainly resemble him.
And I've really been working on that shoulder mass. What do y'all think?
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Anyway, enough about the Ultimate Warrior. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Great, man.
Let's act like we let's all act like we just got on here and just saw each other and haven't been planning and prepping for 1 hour.
That sounds like a plan.
Oh, so this is our first podcast, and I think this is like something I've always wanted to do, and I think it's going to be fun. We can add people along the way, have some guests. I think our first guest should be the Ultimate Warrior. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Works for me.
I think that's a good pick.
I thought he died.
He's dead.
I was just thinking we would dress you up like him.
You set that whole conversation up to end with that. I see.
Absolutely.
That's for you boys. So the topic of tonight, the one thing that I wanted us to talk about, and obviously we're going to talk about everything. We're not going to stay on long, maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see where this thing goes. But I really wanted to talk about, like, what is Easter? What is Easter to you guys when you couldn't dress up, you couldn't go to our church buildings, kids couldn't Easter egg hunt, couldn't do all these things. Easter was just alone and separate with your families instead of together. I think that really just kind of takes away the commercialness of Easter and says that we've really got to focus on what Easter really is. So what do you guys think about that? Before we get started on that, I'd like to introduce everybody. Up here we have Bradley BJ Beej Alexander. He is at Dunder Mifflin right now. He's coming in from Dunder Mifflin. He's a new hire. Jim and Dwight actually got together and hired Beej, and so we welcome Beej to the feed. Say hey to Beej.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, all right. We also have the one and the only back brace Timothy Robertson.
Hey, guys.
Yep. He's done informed us, don't stay on this long because my back is hurting. Everybody, my back is hurting. That's why we call him back brace Timothy. We'll talk a little bit tonight, I think, about why he's wearing that back brace. And then also we have the Blake Papa Pump Parker. Where is your background, Blake?
Oh, well, I changed it. I forgot.
Yeah, put it back up.
I'm sorry. Hang on.
Come on, man. Like, there it is. I am that I am. Yeah, that's it. I like that.
That's good.
Blake, say hey, everybody. To everybody, Blake, say hey.
Hello, everyone.
And up here, we also have the one and the only, the awesome Brad Edwards. He is
What's up, guys?
He's a champion maker. He's the reason that Shep will sign for the major leagues. And also,
Absolutely.
he has got some great spiritual wisdom as well that might poke its head out every now and then, right? All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say hey to everybody, Brad.
What's up, guys?
All right. So now back to that question. So what do you think? What do y'all think about this Easter? It was tough. I mean, of course, we had our online services and some people had their drive-through services. I mean, what happens if the Holy Spirit gets a hold of you in a drive-through service? Do you start squealing out?
Have you not seen that meme going on the internet?
For the people this week.
Yeah, they start going around in circles.
I mean, that's a good thought. I was, it's a funny thing. We were at the hospital thing where they were praying at the hospital, and there was a lady behind us, and she was out and she was just praying, and the police come up, whoop, whoop, and rolled down the window and said, "Get in your car," and she was like, oh, "Okay," and it was it. It was over. I felt sorry for her, man. I don't know. It's hard being restricted.
It's very hard being restricted.
So what's y'all's thoughts? Talk to me about that.
I think, honestly, I think Easter this year was it was a little more intimate. It was it's not your typical scheduled Easter where you buy into shirt and tie and everybody puts a new dress on, a new pair of shoes. It's stripped down to a lot of intimacy and a lot of family time, where me myself, I spent time watching different sermons, watching different things, and learning a lot of different things that honestly I really enjoyed, instead of the hustle and bustle of the prototypical holiday.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. It's like this typical everybody go buy some peeps and build Easter baskets and
Right.
That. I mean, which everybody still got Easter baskets. They think Shep didn't, and he is still wanting to know where his Easter basket is.
Just tell him it's at my house.
I'll just tell Brad's got it. He's waiting on you. What do you got?
We got it handled.
Somebody else chime in on this. What do you think? Easter was much different this year than it's ever been. And let me give y'all another interesting thought on as we're going forward with this. Mary found a post on the interwebs that said this was the first time since Egypt that the Israelites were quarantined into the home, the first time since Passover. And it's kind of neat that we celebrated Passover started Wednesday and it's still going on. But this is the first time since Egypt when they had to put the blood on the door. The first time since Egypt that they were quarantined into their homes. I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting thought too. But this was different. This was a different Easter. And I'll share a little bit what I think about it. But who else? What we got? What y'all thinking?
I'm the same way with Brad. It was a lot more intimate, and you spent more time with your immediate family instead of all the hustle and bustle, running around. And I understand church. I enjoyed spending time with my church family and everything, but it was a lot more intimate this year. And I took more time, and we were together more as a family instead of running around hustle and bustle and doing everything else that we do for Easter. And we had a great time this Easter, just to be honest. And I know that sounds bad, but truthfully, it was a great Easter.
Yeah, and we did.
I think that sounds really awesome.
What's up, Beach?
We had a really great Easter too. I mean, which I hate calling it Easter sometimes, Resurrection Day. But it wasn't. Everybody running around trying to get pictures, trying to, hurry up and get to church. We took time, sat together, and watched the sermon, and about 2 or 3 sermons actually. And it was just I felt like I learned more this Easter than I have any other time in a long time.
Yep. Now back to my question: whose was the best? I'm just kidding. That was a joke. But really, I'm just kidding.
But really.
Hey, dude, that music video though, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Blake, what do you think, bud?
No, I agree. I know Easter, especially, being part of the church and always trying to have an Easter program that's really impactful for Sunday. There's a lot of planning that goes into things like that, a lot of preparation and practice. And it was refreshing to have a new perspective on the simplicity of just sitting and enjoying the day and thinking about, what Easter is all about. Because it's real easy for us to get caught up in our routines. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with routine, but it is easy to get caught up in those things and over time kind of lose sight of what Easter's all about. And, this was, maybe this is God's way just in general of slowing people down and giving people perspective on what's important in life. And that was the biggest difference for me with this Easter is, it gave me some perspective on just how we try to make things more complicated than they have to be. And, there's simplicity in resting in the cross and admiring Easter for what it is and just resting in that day.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, I feel a lot about the same there. One thing that really sticks out to me, and it's the fact that every year, Mary and I get on Facebook and we see everybody's Easter picture. And I don't think, Mary, when's the last time that we've been able to take Easter pictures?
I think I made us last year. But
Yeah, normally we don't even get to, because here's the thing, and here's kind of what I'm coming from with it. Normally, it's the most stressful day of my life. Okay, because I have this performance anxiety that the culture has forced on churches. By the time I'm done, I'm so mentally exhausted, I don't even want to spend time with my family. I just want to come home and take a nap, Yeah, we normally come straight home and crawl in the bed and go to sleep and sleep till like 7, get up and eat some pizza rolls and go back to bed. Like,
Oh yeah.
And also here's the next thing, because Easter is so wonderful, and Resurrection Sunday is so wonderful. But I'm seeing everything you're saying, and I agree, because here's the next thing. Is it also the most prepared for day of the year in churches? And what if, okay, now let's be real about this, because I know in January, me and Blake start talking, all right, what songs are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? How are we going to do this? And then I do Zoom meetings with creative team. And I was like, hey, here's my thoughts for the sermon. Here's the scriptures. How can we make this sermon a wow factor? I do that every year. What if, why do we not put that effort into every encounter, And so it really just kind of got to me a little bit that it was almost like it was just a commercialized culture. Who's going to be the biggest and best thing? And I'm not degrading that. Don't get me wrong, but there was something special about Timothy calling me homemade. And I'm bringing you some fresh muscadine grape juice or whatever it was. And then there was something special about my family right here at the table, although I was on the camera, us just doing communion together. There was just something special about the intimacy, about the simplicity of it, that I had time to reflect, I had time to think. And it wasn't about the church experience, but it was about Jesus.
Right.
And maybe for other people, it's easier, but on a pastor's level, and I know, like, you guys help me do a lot of leadership stuff in the church on leadership. Sometimes it's not that simple, And so I don't know. That was just something that really stuck out to me. We don't need the spectacle to encounter Jesus. You know. Now, with that being said, I love the stages of churches, and I love the gatherings and the huge gatherings, and the fact that people are 80% more likely to come to church with you on Easter if you ask them than any other time. I love that stuff. I love the stats. I love people coming. I love people dressing up, people being excited. I love that stuff. But in this moment where coronavirus has said, everybody slow down, and then tornado said, now everybody do it without power. I think we're just in this place where God wants us to slow down and see Him again instead of everything else. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, not just Easter, but, you know, this whole quarantine has made the church service that's online, and a lot of things a lot more intimate. Not, you know, not just for Easter. You know, it's kind of made a lot of things a lot more intimate and put a lot of things in their place. Where a lot of people look at Sunday, every Sunday is, let's go dress up, let's go fellowship, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but there's more to it than that. And there's got to be more to it than that.
And I can honestly say I'm enjoying this quarantine stuff.
That's because you're antisocial, Timbo.
Do what?
What are you talking about? Like, when the world was flourishing, you still would not come out of your house. So,
Man, I'm out of my house all the time.
this
I
is
leave
your
every morning to go to work, and I come home every evening.
yeah, and that's it. Like, this has been your excuse to not have to answer the question, where have you been?
Yeah.
So, this has been different. You're right. I mean, this has been really different. It's been hard. I get phone calls every single day. It's like, I'm just so upset about this situation. I can't come to your house, or can't do this and can't do that. And people are really struggling. I don't know. I think that we need some time just apart with our families. I think divorce rate is like at an all-time high. I mean, you know, people, you know, adultery and
Is
stuff
that
like
because
that.
people are quarantined together, or is that
No, like before quarantine, before the quarantine. But you know, now that we're forced to stay in the same room and house together, I look at Mary because I'm making sure she's not looking at me like, I hate you. You know? Now that but we're having to stay together, we're finding love in each other again, and all across the world, I think families are doing stuff like, your dog is getting to play fetch, and it's been begging you for a year, but now it's your only option is like play fetch or watch reruns of Roseanne, and you know.
Yeah.
Reruns of Roseanne. Oh, there you go. The real reason.
Speaking of the Ultimate Warrior.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, but seriously, like, I don't have anything good to watch right now.
No.
Like, I think it's like reruns of Roseanne or Walker Texas Ranger for me. What y'all have anything?
That's Walker Texas Ranger is a great move. I can watch any Dateline there is.
Date?
Absolutely. You don't like murder mystery?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Watch that stuff around Mary. It gives her ideas, man. I watched this Dateline. I watched this Dateline 2020 where this woman was killing her husband with Visine, and that night I knew right then and there no more, because she put Visine in the cart while we was at Walmart.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
She's gunning for you.
Yeah, I can't watch it stuff. It gives her ideas. I can't chance it.
She's over there taking notes.
I'm looking, make sure she's not writing stuff down right now.
No, she probably is. She's
I don't know.
watching you on YouTube right now, so she's writing all this down.
Yeah, she's smarter than to do it on camera.
So I think I'll add one final thought, and we can talk about some funny things or something. But I think with the Easter quarantine 2020, I think this was a perfect time to remember that what it's about, and it's about Jesus. It's not about a new suit, new tie. It's not about the best performance. It's not about the best sermon. It's about Jesus. And so if we can remember that, I hope we can. I hope that by the time we get around to next Easter, that we're not falling right back to the same cultural habits. And that's that. I think that's my biggest hope right now, is that we don't fall right back into the same cultural habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me something, boys. Let's talk about why Timothy's wearing a back brace.
I would like to know.
Out. Look, I figured out the best. Somebody asked, I just tell them I go skydiving. I just forget the parachute.
I went skydiving.
So, Brad, you don't know why I'm wearing a back brace?
I have no idea.
Oh, this will be wonderful.
Okay.
Tell him. Now, tell him every day.
Afternoon, about 7 weeks ago now, I think. I decided I was going to clean out my gutters because I was up on my roof fixing a leak. And so I step over on the back side of the house to blow out the gutters, and I get about 3 foot down one way and start down the other way, and decided it wasn't a good idea because it wasn't working. So when I went to turn to come off the roof, I hit a spot of water that I blew up on the roof. Well, shingles, it would have been okay, but it wasn't shingles. It was a tin roof.
Oh, Lord.
So when my foot hit it, I was gone like a rocket. And so I hit the ground and fractured L1 and L2. But can I say that I have a wonderful church family? And even the other day, I was talking to the one of the fire and rescue guys. He brought a truck up to the shop to get fixed. And he said, man, I was there when you fell off your roof. And I said, well, that's great. I said, I really couldn't see. I was face down the whole time. Y'all wouldn't move me. And and so he said, but can I say that you have the most people I have ever seen to show up at something like that? He said, your yard was slap full. I said, that's what you get when you have a great church family.
You do have a great church family, but I will say that the extent of the incident prior to me going there was blown severely way out of proportion. Because when I got the text that you had fallen, it was implied that you had fallen off an extremely high roof line, probably onto concrete, and you were unconscious and not talking.
Was that
landed on your face?
Was that Ant that sent you that?
Is that me?
Yeah, Anthony didn't exaggerate that.
Well, okay, let me set this up. I can't even remember who I got a text from. I think or a phone call. I can't remember. I think I actually got a phone call from Mary, which was out of the ordinary as it was. So it freaked me out. And then, so I just drove. I just started going. And then when I got to Timothy's house, the first person I seen, which confirmed my paranoia even more, before I seen Tim, was Pam.
Oh, no.
And I mean, she was like hysterical. And I hadn't seen Tim at this point yet. And I was like, this is not good at all. And then I come around the corner and there's Tim lying there. And I'm like, oh no. And then they put him on the gurney and Tim makes eye contact with me. And he's like, hey, buddy.
Can I say I smiled and laughed through the whole process? I mean, even though it was bad, I still kept a great positive outlook. I knew God was with me the whole time. And I knew that he had healed me and I was going to be fine. And so I was laying there and the paramedic, I'll tell you funny, I was laying there and the paramedic said, I was laying and I heard the helicopter and he said, oh yeah, that's yours. I said, oh no, that's not. I said, I lived off falling off this roof, but if that helicopter goes down, I won't live through that. So if I'm conscious, we're going in a ride, not in a helicopter.
Well, you look good in the back brace.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I've been sporting it for quite some time now. So I've got the first week in May, I think, is when it comes off. But it's going to be a slow process after that because I can already tell that my muscles are real weak in my back.
I'll tell you this. The call that I got was Kim. And this is what I heard. And I said, Kim, shh, what are you saying?
She's giving you the dirty eye right now. If you could only see.
And so I said, give him the phone and let me talk to him right now. And then all of a sudden, this is what I'll never forget. I heard because his face was in the dirt. Like, he goes, hey, buddy. I said, you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I said, what happened? He goes, I fell off the roof, landed. I'm okay. And I said, well, Kim doesn't think so. She's like, it's not her body. She don't know. Something like that, I'll never forget this. But, I'm driving from Fayette 150 miles an hour, and I made the mistake of calling Pam.
Oh, goodness.
Because I'm sure she went 200 miles an hour over there, and she probably was still in her PJs. I don't know. Was she dressed?
I don't remember. I was face down.
I don't remember. I just remember her being hysterical when I pulled up.
Yeah, she just go.
From my understanding, Wayne Darty and Blake made it here in record time.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, enough of that. That's why Timbo's in a back brace.
Yep.
So, BJ.
Yeah, buddy.
How's things at Dunder Mifflin?
Oh, that's great. Jim and Dwight still going at it.
Are they?
Yeah.
So, Brad, what's on your mind, buddy?
I'm really digging all these guitars back here, to be completely honest.
Hey, would you grab one of those and play it for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to give me a second. I'm in a back brace too.
Oh, me.
Yeah. Blake, what you think, bud?
I'm just trying to be quiet and honor Hulk Hogan back here. He's praying, so I'm just trying to give him a piece of quiet.
So I got a question. What do y'all think the new normal is going to be?
I think that's a good question.
Oh, wow.
I think life's going to slow down a whole lot. I think people are going to appreciate the things they have and the things they do, and appreciate family a whole lot more. So I think you're still going to have your hustle and bustle, but I certainly think life's going to slow down for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the
I'm
travel
praying
will
there's
slow
going to be a
down.
lot more in church.
Yeah.
I think people will enjoy their families more and not go as much as we used to do. I mean, we used to go nonstop, and I think a lot of people's going to stop that and just enjoy their time at home with their families because they've been forced into that. So now they see how nice that is,
Right.
and they're not going to want to go back to all that hustle and bustle.
Yeah, but can I say though, I agree 100% to that, except for like the first week.
I think the first week's going to be crazy, and I can tell you that my spike in car accidents are going to go wee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the spike in diarrhea medicine too, because of all the Mexican restaurants. That's gonna be-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's missing Mexican food.
Yeah, let me tell you, like people are going to hit the Mexican restaurants. I mean, they're like, you remember when we couldn't get into Wendy's and to Popeyes?
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be with all the restaurants. It's going to be like they just reopened, and lines are going to be around the building.
Yeah, Cabos. It was 2 hours getting Cabos as it is. Now you might as well set up reservation. You want cheese dip? You better reservation.
Reservations only.
Yeah, that's right.
But I do think that people will go back to the norm, and I think that's a really good question about the norm, because that's something Mary and I have talked about a lot. I don't know. I think this may be the new norm.
I feel like a lot of it is. I was praying the other day, and I was praying, and I was like, God, let's just get back to the normal. And I was stopped immediately in my prayer, and it was like, what if this is the new norm?
Well, we watched the Fox News a whole lot, and Dr. Fauci, is that right, Mary? Fauci, he was talking about like people, he said people won't even shake hands with anybody anymore. I think that, everything will open back up and be business as usual. Brad will go back to soft tossing the kids and baseball. And, I'm sure Blake could go back to an office, and Tim will go back to repairing cars, and I'll go back to helping kids, and Beach will go back to editing videos like a champion.
Right.
But I think for the most part, I just think that people are going to be really conscious of cleanliness, maybe is a good word, or maybe I think people will start washing their hands when they go to the bathroom in restaurants now, where they used to not. And I think people will actually soap instead of, because like for me, I'll just, turn the water on and, I'll just
Right.
and move on, and sometimes I just don't even do that because I think to myself, it's my hands,
Well, I'm not shaking your hands anymore, so.
Yeah.
It'd be an elbow
Yeah,
bump.
definitely not.
I need to go wash my hands right now.
maybe you do, but
That's funny.
It's definitely going to just be a lot more fist bumps, instead of handshakes.
Bumps, elbow bumps.
I may not ever touch anybody again. I see all these people that are like, I'm not a hugger, but as soon as the gates open, I'm going to hug everybody. And I'm like, no, I'm going to Lysol you if I see you too close to me.
Yeah.
Well, here's the big one right here. Since you brought up hugging, do you think Pam's going to go back to hugging?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's done trying to hug everybody now. You couldn't cause that lady to stop hugging people if they had porcupine spikes coming at them. She would find a way. She'd be like, well, I love them and Jesus is Lord, and I'll suffer a little bit so they can feel love.
That's so bad. That sounds just like her, man.
That sounds just like
But she has a good heart, and that's funny. She's probably listening to this right now and so mad. But
We love Pam.
we love
do
Pam. She loves people. She will hug. I probably will not touch anyone ever again. And on another note, like Donnie's got one of my acoustics, he's borrowing them and playing. I got to Lysol that, because after this, I may not ever loan a guitar out again, and so.
Given the story you just talked about washing your hands, I think he's the one that should have lost all the guitar before he started playing.
Yeah.
Those words.
Especially at the Mexican restaurant.
Right.
so
Yeah.
true. I agree.
That was a good time.
But do you not feel like the knobs in the bathroom are dirtier than you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't go to the bathroom in there, so
Oh, well, what happens when it hits you?
it doesn't.
He's tamed. He's programmed.
That's control. That's impressive.
He just stands up and goes home.
Gotta go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, y'all
Down and dash.
obviously have never ate with Blake Parker. Blake, he'll be eating, and then he goes,
like a baby when they get quiet in the corner,
and then he'll disappear. He's gone. He's gone. And I'm over there and like I got to go, and because I don't typically try to use the bathroom, and so but I'll get to like, then I'll just keep eating, and then it goes away, and then it never comes back.
Uh-oh.
It does at some point.
Yeah, like
vengeance.
it comes back like the water's crashing back down over the Red Sea with Moses. That's what happens. Oh, we're digressing so hard. But no, I think the norms will change. But I think for a lot of people, they're just waiting on the gates to be open. So I think for a lot of people, the norms are just going to go back to where it was. But I think a lot of people will be very cautious.
I don't think it'll happen quickly.
No, and I mean, they'll get a vaccine for this thing, and then it'll be a faint memory,
Yeah.
And then they'll start.
I think like everybody's. I don't know. I think everybody's probably going to just jump right in the same boat they were in, whether it takes a week or 2 weeks, however long it is. Because to me, to me, this has been like people who like to go out and do things are going insane, and then people who, just like hanging out and being at the house, their life is fine. So, it just depends on the person that they are. But I don't know. I feel like, well, I'm not going to be a total pessimist and say that it's going to go right back. I feel like it's going to obviously have some kind of repercussions just because this is like been a historical moment. And we've never experienced anything like this. So, I think people will have a lot of takeaways from it, but I don't think it'll be too long where people will get back in a similar routine at least. So,
You don't think we'll have to wear masks and gloves the rest of our life?
nah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've went out to a few places this past week, and I didn't wear masks or gloves. I'm not the paranoid type. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not either.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm not unless you tell me that the virus is going to like utterly destroy me and turn me into a zombie. Then maybe I would have gotten a little bit more paranoid. But I mean, for me, I just took the precautions, and every time I went in and out of a place, I washed my hands and sanitized them, and I didn't touch my face.
Yeah.
And I stayed away from
Here's the real question. Did anybody besides me just absolutely have a coughing fit in Walmart?
like on purpose.
People were running from me.
It's a good way to get that hamburger meat. You go over to the hamburger meat and then just start hacking. And then people just drop it and go. You
Yeah.
It means you won't. But don't do that. Oh, that's funny. No, but I did have a coughing fit on my first live at the church. I could not stop coughing while I was preaching live, and I was just like coughing. And somebody actually commented and said, "Tell him to stop coughing." Which brings me to the fact that I think I've already had this stuff, and I think that's going to be the next shocker, is the antibody test. When they do the antibody test, and they realize that a bunch of people have already had this, and now they're
that's what they tried to say about me and Dad. Because I had to stay in the hospital 7 days before all this happened with pneumonia, and they're saying I already had it. I'm like, no, I don't think it was it, but it's kind of weird
Could have been
to think about. Yeah, you never know.
Was you positive?
Dad got worse. Dad was worse than me. I mean, he was laying down doing nothing, so, and that's weird for Dad.
Did they test
they didn't test either one of us, because we was well by the time it really hit.
No, I'm talking about, did they test you for the flu or anything like that?
Oh yeah, flu, MRSA.
Was you positive for the flu?
No, just
had the
pneumonia.
He had the Ronas.
That's right.
That's
God.
Well, we're going to wrap up here, guys. Is any final thoughts here? Along with these thoughts, I think what does the church learn from this? What are we going to do different in the church? Are we just going to go back to the same rodeo, to the same show, or are we?
I hope not.
What's going to be? Let's take it one-on-one here, one-on-one for a minute. What's going to be different for the church when we can come back together?
Hey, more appreciation.
Yeah.
Be appreciative of the ability to go, the freedom to go, and understand how privileged we actually are. We've just experienced a small, even if you could call it small, taste of what a lot of people have to live through. But it's like, there's still, even that, it's no comparison. If you think about people who don't have the freedom to go out and worship because of fear of persecution from, law enforcement or whatever else that may be, that's some serious fear. And, we experienced this small dose of it that's pales in comparison, but it should give us a new appreciation for what we do have, and that we would always honor that.
Yeah, I think honor is going to be a big thing. I think intimacy is going to be a big thing, and I think people are going to be intolerant of the mundane performance. if
I
you
think
will.
Well,
fellowship should be a
also,
big thing.
go ahead, BJ.
That's what I was saying. I think fellowship should be a big thing too. Let's come together as a church more.
Mhm.
Spend time together.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that you're not going to have typical church anymore. I think people have realized that the church moves beyond those four walls and outside those walls. And I had a move of the Holy Spirit on my front porch Friday.
Yeah.
It doesn't all happen in that one building, and
Amen.
I think people are going to appreciate that.
Mhm. I really do think that too, bud. Timbo?
I checked out for a minute. Sorry.
I need to fade up that clap. I don't know how to fade up that clap. Hold on, here it is. Here it is. Did it fade? Was it just
No. Yeah, we'll work on it.
All right, Timbo, answer the question. No one tell him what the question was. Answer the question.
I might have dozed off.
Oh, gosh.
The question was Burger King or McDonald's. Which is your favorite?
Neither. Neither. The question was, how do we think church will be after this?
Yeah, will there be any difference? Will there be any, anything that we differently as?
I do believe it'll be different in a way. Will it be different in a good way? I do believe. One, I think through this time, more people has taken the time to be one-on-one with God, where before they were relying on you to bring them the word. And now they've taken that time and actually spent that time with God. So I feel like that possibly the church service will be better because people will be coming in and they will already be equipped and be ready to worship and praise and ready to receive what God has for them because they've got themselves ready for worship, where before they were coming into the church and was hoping and expecting the worship team and the pastor to bring them what they're needing for the week, where now they're actually having to do that themselves.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I just hope that we don't get back into the slump. And I think that's going to be the thing that we're going to really think about is how to step out of that.
Us as leaders, we have to make sure we don't get back in that slump.
Yeah, no doubt indeed. Well, I've had a good time talking with you guys tonight. Does anyone want to share a final thought of randomness at all before we check out and say goodbye?
You should probably not watch Roseanne anymore.
I've got to check out. I got a little one screaming, so I got to go see what's going on with her.
All right. Well, this was our first podcast, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it. You guys say bye to everybody, and we'll be back next week with some more stories, some more God, and some more things to make you laugh. You guys have a good evening, and I'll check you later.